Right, so Lee's just about to get in position again now. That cast went a little high, so he's going to keep his arm in. So he's going to put the reel up to his pit of his arm. Once he's got the pit, bring the multiplier into your arm. So like we've done before, going into the pit. So this arm's coming into here now, straight. So basically, he's got, like I said before, this right arm is out straight and he's got control of the multiplier. Now he's pushing out with that hand. See him push out? He's bringing that arm right out. So what he's doing now is lowering his rod tip. So here we are, second cast on the multiplier. Stop. Well, as you just see there with Lee, second cast. How did it find that then, mate?
Yeah, the technique felt a bit smoother that time. I like the feel, how fast the line comes off the reel. You can really feel the difference in how smooth it comes off, and yeah, it's nice.
No overrun.
No,
the cast went out nice and straight.
Yeah.
Right height.
Technique was a bit better that time, I think.
Definitely, mate. Let's have another go. So what we do now is, if you want to start reeling him in.
Yeah.
So Lee's got, you see Lee now with his fingers, he's actually holding the line and evenly coming across the spool. This isn't the easiest thing to do, like I said before, he's totally new to this. Evenly does it, so he's just coming back across. He's looking to see where the pits are, to build in between the pits, and he's obviously gathering the line back onto the multiplier. So as you just saw, second cast out there for Lee, went out very smoothly, right direction, right height. As the lead peaked, he watched it drop, as it hit the surface, thumb straight on the spool. Total control. Released it off, let the lead sink, that ready for fishing. Now, what we're going to do now is do the same again with Lee, but I'm going to let the mag off slightly. The reason being, see if he can get a little bit better distance. So now, he's only had this on his second go, but with the way he just casted then, I can see that his ability to actually use it and put it out a bit more distance is there. So let's see how we get this on. Right, so as you've seen again, he's got the multiplier in the pit of his arm. He needs to put his legs in the right position, so he's got the 12 o'clock. He's got his current foot in the 6 o'clock, so you want to move that around a bit more. That's it, so we've got in position now. So have you seen that? 3 o'clock and 12 o'clock. He needs to bend his legs, and now we'll come back out of here. Slight overrun. Literally, he can pull that out of his hand, and that's clean on. So what we're going to be doing, reeling him in, we'll do it a little bit faster now, Lee, so you pick up the pace, get the lead up off the floor, and just use the rod tip to, if you feel it obviously dragging, use your power in your rod just to lift up. Use the rod and the reel to do the work. So it's dragging at the minute, do a little bit of a pull up, that's it. And then quickly gain line, and again, simple again, you feel it doing it.
It's hard work.
That went out a lot better distance that time.
Yeah, it went quite far, didn't it?
That was a good 80 to 90 yard cast.
Yeah, it was really nice, really smooth that time. I like that one.
What difference do you find that then, mate?
I do feel like it's going further than it does on the fixed spool.
Do you prefer the feel to the cast?
I think if I'd worked on it a little bit more and got a bit more confident with it, I think I'd probably put a lot of distance on my cast.
Okay, so we just gone for a few casts with Lee using the multiplier today. As you said, he uses a fixed spool onto a Penn PBT sidewinder, which is his setup normally. I've seen the lad pull in 18-pound cong reels, 20-pound line and a fixed spool rod. there's a rod coming up in between the middle of him, and he's holding on for dear life, dragging it up. But you got it in mate that day, didn't you?
Yeah.
And would you say using a multiplier on that day would have helped you out a lot more?
Maybe if I had the experience of a multiplier would help. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it would. It was pretty awkward fish to put in that day.
It was testing your strength a little bit as well.
The groin area and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it did test your groin area a little bit with the bottom of the rod butt. But you today, mate, at the end of the day, the first cast went off quite high.
Yeah.
A little bit of an overrun. Second cast went off lovely, went in the exactly right direction, right height, peaked. As you've seen the lead drop, thumb over the spool, total control of the cast, and went out a fair distance. So obviously, we let off.
I think with the first cast, I was thinking about what I was doing more than doing what I was meant to be doing.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Trying to grasp the new hold of the rod, where the reel is, how you hold it, and how you turn it.
Well, you would let go with the reel with the right hand, and as you were coming in, you'd use your power in your left hand to pull, and as you got in the cast, you would let go with your right finger, thumb. But with that cast you were doing today, totally opposite. You're using the power and the technique, obviously.
The swing of your body and the action,
it's
the movement itself.
But for obviously, because when you're using your fixed ball, you're just concentrating on winding and getting it in. But you're concentrating on obviously feeding the line through evenly.
But I suppose once you use a multiplier, that become natural to you, and you wouldn't have to.
It is a lot difficult at first when you've got a fish on, because you're concentrating, your buzz has gone through, you've got a fish on, you're trying to reel in, and the tendency is just to try and get the line on quick as you can to get the fish in. But it's always important to make sure that line goes on evenly. I mean, if you get one end really massive and the other end not so massive, when you go to cast next time, you'll end up with all sorts of problems, including bird's nest, black off, you name it, it's going to happen. So it is really important to obviously thumb backwards and forwards, or as Lee was doing, just to start off, he was using two fingers to even the line and gather line on the spool. Now, I hope that was the answer to your question, for the Facebook question, but at the end of the day, it's just practice. I mean, get a rod, get a reel, go any tackle shops, supply them, you go in there and the guys behind the counter are always friendly enough to help, say what you're looking for. But I would suggest using a mag reel, a multiplier which you can control with a braking system on it, so you can tighten your mags right up, get used to casting. A lot of people will get off-putted big time. I've got a friend of mine, Paul Lynch. He's obviously just got his first Plex. He's moving on. He's using multipliers anyway, but we're trying to get him to use reel down to use a pendulum cast. The reason being, if he's going to start off the pendulum cast now, he's going to learn it with his right arm. And at the end of the day, if he ever wants to go on the reel down, like I did, it caused me all sorts of problems going pendulum casting that would reel up and then moving the reel down. It was all over the place. You're better off, I think, doing it all at once. So if you want to go for a multiplier, you want to learn the cast, reel down straight away, get down the beach and practice. Now, with the pendulum cast, I would suggest seeking casting lessons. I mean, it's the best thing I've ever done. I mean, when I first started on casting and learning, I wasn't a big hitter to start off. I would say I was struggling to hit 80 to 90 yards, and after going down the field, I was going over the 100 yards, 150 yards, and it took me a lot to reach that 200 mark. I mean, going down the field all the time, you come down the field with me before, and at the time, Nick Panther, Steve Puckey, Ian Ford, went down to Westwood once and met Ian Ford, and he gave me a few tips on casting. But getting together with the likes of Nick Panther and Steve Puckey, obviously going down the field with them is what brought my casting up tenfold. I mean, it was, you go down there and a lot of people think that 200 yards, I'm hitting 200 yards. Until you actually got 200 yards in front of you, you really don't know what it is. I mean, me and Shane Clark went down there the first time thinking, oh, 200 yards easy, you've been down the football pitch and that. And that 200 yards is a hell of a way. And just to be able to get to that stage where you're hitting the 200 yards and then you're hitting 205, then you're hitting 210, 215, 220, it will take time. But it took me out of fishing for 12 months And to be honest, it was the best 12 months I ever done. I mean, the Saturdays and Sundays in the summer we used to have a barbecue, get all the boys together, have a casting session down on the field, and it did improve my fishing when I come back to it. I mean, with extra distance sometimes is needed on a lot of marks to pull out the bigger fish. And what we do now is obviously Lee's going to go back to using his fixed ball reels. I'm going to go back to using my setup, and we're down on the beach today, hopefully trying to pick up an early ray. I mean, it's a little bit early still. We're using pulley drop down rigs, single sound deal baits. What would you say, do you think the casting with the multiplier on my rod a minute ago put distance on the setup we're using at the minute?
Well, I've gone straight back to fishing the way that I was. Yeah, it's just it's how I fish with
what style of casting do you find? Overhead bump, you get better distance?
I tend to just go over the overhead, straight out in front of me, and just get a nice height on it and try and keep the angle.
Yeah. Do you feel like you want to go over the multiplier?
I would like to at some point. I think I can put some distance on my cast, but at the moment,
I'm enough lads, you get enough.
At the moment, I'm kind of happy with what I got. But I'm not saying that I wouldn't like to learn it. I think it is a better reel, especially for your casting and stuff.
I find it
comes off a lot better.
I use fixed balls for mulleting now and floundering, to be honest. But anywhere I've got to use a fixed ball, I've used like Lindsay. I tried her on a fixed ball to start with, and for me, trying to cast with a fixed ball, reel up, and trying to get as much distance as I can. There was no way. It felt hell of a weird. And I remember when I was doing that before, I used to get hell of a good distance. But then coming back to it and going, it's swapping around, and it's just what you're used to, I suppose. And for someone coming out, like the question the young lad on Facebook asked, can you obviously help me with the multiplier and how it works and feeding line on? He's obviously having problems with that. And at the end of the day, it's just practice. You know, all fishing is practice. At the end of the day, casting, rigs, techniques, styles, venues, everything is about learning, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's the main thing here.